الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Dr. Ross also is an emergency doctor that works in emergency, and he shared with us so many memories. As a matter of fact, I experienced of being in an emergency room yesterday for almost 4 hours. I got a very severe pain, and I tried to ignore it till like 2:30 in the morning, but it got to the point that I said, I can't survive this pain, I have to go to emergency. And they put me under IV for almost 4 hours, and they did tests and CAT scan, and finally found out that I had some kidney stone, and they sent me home with lots of medicine. So if I made any mistake, remember that I'm coming from that background. In the morning I had to take like 10 different pills for killing the pain and kidney treatment and nausea and all you can call, and blood pressure and so many. But I realized that what's going on in emergency and how tough for you doctors to work for that in that area. And then from that emergency to the emergency of the family, that you found out that really the cause of all of this problem starts from somewhere. We cannot have a happy society and healthy society without having a happy and healthy and strong and stable family. If we can bring values like love and loyalty, respect, responsibility, peace, justice, truth, wisdom, and sense of understanding and cooperation and communication, if we start these values from the family, then we wouldn't have all of these problems that we have in this world of hate and hypocrisy and dishonesty and deception and destruction and war and violence and so many other problems. So we have to start from the family. If you look at our neighborhood in Detroit, this city, which was in 2013 as the most miserable city in the United States, isn't it amazing? And declared for bankruptcy, a bankrupt city. The same city was #1 in America in last century. What happened that in 1 century, less than a century, this much pain and suffering? You see some relationship between the crimes, poverty, and problems in the city, with the information like 80% of babies in Detroit are out of wedlock. What is the connection here? This is something that this conference was focusing on. And this is why in our religious tradition, Christian, Islam, Judaism, we see that things start and the emphasis from the family. Reverend David, he had a lecture on the conference, and he said that he found that the best definition of marriage and family, he found it in the Quran. وَمِن كُلِّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَا زَوْجَيْنِ. It's similar a sentence in the Quran that Allah created this world. There's a pairs in everything. Not only human being is part of nature, part of everything that exists in this world. And it says that لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. It is a source of tranquility. This is the definition of the family. mawaddatan wa rahma, is the center of civilization, of love and loyalty. Is hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul lahum. This is real closeness. This is the definition of the Quran from the family. Mithaqan ghalidha. It is a very serious covenant, and we must take this issue of family very, very seriously. And thank God that this conference could send this message that we must put the family in order. If the family is out of order, then nothing can be in order. This guy Alex, who just 2 days ago took 2 knives from his kitchen in Pennsylvania, and he went to the high school, and he attacked and wounded 20 students there. And some of them had to go through heavy operation. If you look at the situation, something wrong in the family. Something was wrong in the family. And unfortunately, the culture is that, forget about marriage now. We are talking about boyfriend and girlfriend. Like the culture of marriage is replaced with something new. And that is very dangerous. Even the definition of the family is changing. Now there is new definition. As the rate of divorce is rising and the rate of marriage going down, now we hear about the definition of the family. That who said min dhakaran wa untha? Maybe different definition. And when this is going to stop? Not now same-sex marriage is supported, but now we heard that in San Francisco, a guy, he got married with his dog now. And there was a priest, and he even was carrying the Bible. And he is standing there and said, yeah, this guy got married with his dog. And then the next day in, I don't know, this doesn't exist in the Bible, but the Bible that he thinks, by the way, and in Los Angeles, there was these 2 guys who got married and now they want to divorce. And there was a big problem about the custody of their dog. And they had to go to emergency court that for the next 2 weeks that the court is going to meet, then who is going to get the custody of this dog for the next 2 days? That was like, became a national news now here. And these guys were fighting that I'm closer to this guy and he's not, domestic violence now. He's not good with the dog. And poor dog is between Los Angeles and San Francisco. The dog is now the target of all these abuses. So we are here really to protect the family and to defend the family and to define the family in the right way, but also to work with the youth and the kids. Here we have hundreds of students on weekend school, especially the Arabic school on Saturday. And at least once a month I sit down with the kids and I pray with them and speak with them about the values that they know about faith and better understanding, better awareness, and better vision how to start the life. Al-ilmu fil-saghar kan-naqsh fil-hajar. They started from very early that, yes, faith matters, identity matters, values and morality matter. Transition of this civilization of morality from one generation to another generation matters. Marriage matters, respect and adab matters. These are important in our faith, in our traditions. So our youth get to maturity of self-confidence and creativity and communication with the rest of the country, and they get ready to contribute that they feel that there is a contribution. We teach them the general rule of the golden, universal golden rule that Imam Ali mentioned, اجعل نفسك ميزانا بينك وبين غيرك فأحبب لغيرك ما تحب لنفسك وأكره لغيرك ما تكره لنفسك ولا تظلم كما لا تحب أن تظلم. That you put your own soul and conscience as a standard. You don't want to be oppressed, so don't hurt anybody. You want to be loved, love others. You hate to be hated, don't hate someone. You want it to be respected, respect others. You want others to be responsible, show responsibility and commitment yourself. And then when I sit down with these kids and I talk with them and I pray, I really feel that I learn from them something too. It's not just the kids, they get an opportunity to raise their questions and have a discussion. And all of us, we learn from one another. We have a brochure that probably you receive it today when you enter. I'd like you to just have a very quick look at this brochure. And this shows just very briefly some of the activities of Islamic House of Wisdom, whether they are spiritual or intellectual or social, or even sometimes financial. You know, I had a lady even in winter, and we had one of the toughest winter this year, that she walked from Southfield, I don't know how, walking on snow and ice from Southfield. She couldn't drive and she was poor. And she comes to the House of Wisdom. She thinks that there is some hope, some help, some assistance. And she's coming to us only for $100. Can you imagine somebody risking her life, walking such long distance? You cannot say no. You cannot say, well, government is helping you. You see a family, that husband passed away, the wife is living in a rental house, the government support is not enough for 5, 6 children, and they are really in trouble when they come that I couldn't pay for my electricity and they want to shut it off. And I want the mosque to help. We cannot say no. When a handicap comes here and says, I need to have a U-Haul to take my stuff from here. The government gave me a rental room or rental house in California. I want to go there, but I need help to move my stuff from here. We do some investigation. It's not that we just have some money there and anybody comes. But there are cases that really you feel it in your conscience that it is true. And you cannot deny it and you cannot reject it. Many times you say, I asked the office, how much we have now? I said, we have $300. Give her the whole money. Or we have $400. Give him. There is a need for that. So it's not really that we are here just to pray or Ashura and Ramadan. There are some other real issues that we have to deal with that. When we hear that somebody passed away and the body is in Wayne County for like a month, and this person has no relatives here, so the body must be buried, and there is no support. Somebody has to take care of that. If we hear that, or other Islamic centers, they hear that, all of us are responsible, and we have been doing that. And by the way, the funeral and Maqsal, you know that House of Wisdom is one of the centers that we have done this service for a long time. We have a Maqsal here, and if somebody passed away, they call House of Wisdom 24/7, and the service is available. And the Maqsal from Ghusl and Kafan and Salat and services, Sadr, Kafur, all this material are free. House of Wisdom never charges anybody for ghusl or for services that related to that. There are part of it which is related to the funeral, and that part is the minimum. A funeral that Hajj Ghassan, that they work with the House of Wisdom, they charge basically only $2,700 for the case of all the transportation and casket and paperwork and all. Now, if the person want to have a grave like for the Mayyat in Canton, they charge another $600 just for the grave. If different, location may be a little bit different, but their cost is very, very reasonable, especially for the family who are not able to pay. So all of this service is free. Now, if somebody wants to use the auditorium or the kitchen or the Mahdi hall, there is a donation for that, but House of Wisdom never said, you have to pay this. If person doesn't have it, no payment. And if this person has it, whatever they can, we don't say that you have to pay certain amount, especially for the poor family. We leave it for the conscience of the people. They know that this facility is in need, and none of us, print dollar here, and there is a need for that. And they always are generous, our community, they are doing that. And you know that this building has almost 10 entrances and 10 exits. I mean, convenience of 3 parking lots around is make it very easy. And we try to show that there is no greed involved. Like we have an school like this Sunday here. At the same time, another family came and it's a very honorable family from the community. They said, we need to have an school here at the same time. And we said, brothers, you look around, maybe there are some other locations involved, because at the same time there is an usbu here. If other places are full and busy at that time, then we would talk with this family, and if they agree, that's okay. We never said that even if there are like 10 usbus, we want to do it at the same time, and then people have to walk for miles in the snow and fall down. I have been in certain, memorial that my car was hit 2 times because no parking lot, no enough space. So we should respect for the Mayyit, respect for the family, respect for community, respect for everyone, that the usbu is time of peace and reflection. It's not that rush, and you have all over, and you have like 5, 6 janazah, and then who is who here, chaos and out of control. It's time to see there are places in the community. MashaAllah, we have Islamic centers, Islamic Institute, Islamic House of Wisdom. There are other places. And hopefully there would be a time that there is more communication among us, and we try to handle these services with honor and with dignity, and everybody can survive and everybody can success. And it's not really an issue of talking about business, because at the end we know that all of these opportunities, we are here a few days, ayyaman qalila, and that's finished. There is no reason to be selfish and look at it just from the material. Now let me get to conclusion with this point, that when we talk about all these services, we understand why the Islamic centers are in need of having fundraising. Because how can you have all of these activities without help? We don't have a system like churches. I like the idea that they have membership, and hopefully we can start something like that in our masajid here. But then we need every 6 months to get together and have a fundraising. And we know that in our traditions, when we come and we get an opportunity of giving, how rewarding is that? Because Allah says in the Quran, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. From whatever that we gave you, share it, whether your information, your experiences, your ideas, your knowledge, your time, your finance, in any capacity. We have been surviving in the House of Wisdom because there are certain people that really, even if they want to be paid minimum wage, probably couldn't survive as an organization. But alhamdulillah, so much work and so much volunteer that somehow we can continue our projects and our services, and having even conferences with the interfaith at the domestic and national level, because we believe in the concept of charity. Al-bir, al-ihsan, al-sadaqa, al-infaq. You know that in the Quran, 338 times the concept of charity. What about salat? What about siyam and fasting? What about hajj and pilgrimage? They are important, but they are not mentioned as much as charity. The maximum verses are about prayer, and just 100 times. But about charity, 338 times. To tell us how it's important. When Jesus said that God told me 3 things: to pray, to give charity, and to be loving to my mom. There is a message that Jesus is sending to us, that charity comes next to prayer. And then he says, Allah says, in ahsantum, ahsantum li'anfusikum. When you do such a thing, you are doing it for yourself. Your act of love, your act of kindness is for you. To purify ourselves, خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُطَهِّرُهُمْ وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا. It is for your own purification of your own soul and your own character. يَوْمَ تَجِدُ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا عَمِلَتْ حَاضِرًا. You can see it for yourself. You do from مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ مَا كَسَبْتُمْ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. This is the way that we believe, and obviously masjid is one of the best cases. These Islamic centers, في بيوت أذن الله أن ترفع ويذكر فيها اسمه, that God is honored and humanity is honored in this masajid. إنما يأمر مساجد الله من آمن بالله. We show our faith and our sincerity when we support our masajid. Imam Baqir said that if someone is generous, a sinful generous is closer to God than somebody who is praying, worshipping, but stingy. That's farther than God.
All right.
That is the hadith that says, somebody asked that, tell me what is the best nation on this planet? Well, so obviously America, we are the best nation.
That's right.
It says, you are the best nation, but somebody even better than this nation, that is donation. Donation, because that is support. The fundamentals that we have in this country. There are some people who take, there are some people who give. And somebody says, if you want to eat more, just take. But if you want to sleep more, give. Giving gives you more opportunity and more rest and more peace. So I hope that we have a few minutes that Hajj Riyadh want to ask. I know that everybody already donated at the door or bought the ticket, but if anything left after this talk and we want to have a new reflection, let us have a few minutes before we go to the dinner, and inshallah take care of that, have an opportunity to help the house of Allah. Then we can continue our services, inshallah, for our youth, for our families, for our kids, for the interfaith. Interfaith, as a matter of fact, is just 1% of services of House of Wisdom. There are 99% other activities that we need to work together and help one another, inshallah, to continue that. I appreciate your presence here, and I welcome you all, the clergy, the officials, the leaders of the institutions, and all of you brothers and sisters. May God bless you and reward you for the time that you are spending in the house of Allah, in Baytullah this evening. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
God bless America.